Welcome to the Providence College podcast. Subscribe to the show on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and Google Play. If you like what you hear, please review and share with others. Email podcast@providence.edu with questions or comments. Go Friars!
Hello and welcome to the Providence College podcast. I'm your host, Matt Chittum. I'm here joined as always by Chris Judge, our producer and videographer. Here at the Providence College podcast, it's our job to bring you interesting stories from in and around the Friar family. And today we're fortunate enough to have Phoebee Jean with us, sophomore here at Providence College. Phoebe.
Hello, how are you doing?
Doing great. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, it's a pleasure, and we're really excited to talk about a variety of things that you've done here on campus, and you in particular. I know recently you were named a Newman Civic Fellow. You received the Newman Civic Fellowship, first of all. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
So what is that exactly?
So the Newman Civic Fellowship is kind of just an opportunity for college students all across the nation, I guess, to come together and get resources and mentorship to help them affect social change in their communities and just be an advocate for social justice in all its forms.
Got it. So what caused you to become interested in this fellowship and in some of the things that it represents?
Well, I know that I'm very passionate about a lot of different types of social justice, whether it's racial equity or women's rights. So this opportunity just seemed wow, I can really become a better person and help others in more meaningful ways. Got
it. So how did it come up on your radar?
So the Feinstein Institute actually emailed me and asked me if I was interested in being nominated. And I said yes, of course, because, how could I say no?
Right, right. And so the Feinstein Institute is here at PC.
Yes.
But you are a health policy management major.
Yes.
So obviously you have a little bit of a connection with the Feinstein Institute that wasn't exactly through the academic side.
No. So I'm a community liaison. And basically what I do with that is we help service learners on campus through the PSP classes. And we bring them to different service sites. So my service site is the Smith Hill Library. And what we do there is we help students with homework. And we just play games with them and spend time with them. And it's a fun time.
Got it. So where exactly is the Smith Hill Library kind of in relation to campus?
So it's about 10 minutes away driving, I would say, a 20-minute walk.
Oh, okay. Got it. So but you're not from here. So it's not like you came here all right, I know Smith Hill Library. It's been a part of my childhood, and here I am. I'm going to give back. You're from Lynn, Massachusetts, right?
Yes.
And you went to Lynn Classical High School?
Yes.
So how did you even get started with the Smith Hill Library?
So how I got started, I guess, was when I first came as a freshman, I was looking for a work study, and I didn't have very much luck with the regular office jobs. So I applied to the community work study program through Feinstein, and they have a list of different sites that they offer for you to go and work in the community. And Smith Hill Library is one that stuck out to me, kind of because I did work at a library back home for 4 years during high school. So I was okay, I have some experience with this, but it ended up being a completely new and different experience than I expected.
In what ways?
Well, at the Lynn Public Library where I worked back home, mainly what I did was just put books away, help patrons find books, which was great. I love doing that. But here at the Smith Hill Library, I kind of get to be with the kids and help them with their homework and just play games and help the librarians in any way I can. And it's just a different experience.
Kind of almost like a mentor role?
Yeah, in some ways, yeah.
So what's the age group for the kids at the library?
So the kids range from ages 3 to 12.
Oh, okay.
Or 13, yeah.
So it's kind of like a informal after-school program in a way?
Yes, so it's drop-in basis, so there isn't any formal program that we have set up, but they drop in whenever they want and they come to the library, usually every afternoon after school, and we just help them with homework, play games. It's their choice if they want to use this as resources or not.
Got it. So is there a kind of an hour requirement when you become a community liaison in terms of how much time you have to spend at whatever site you choose?
Yes. So there's about 6 to 10 hours a week that we put in at our service site and just planning. Got it.
So why did you decide to be a health policy major then instead of, say, a community service major? Since it seems like you're obviously a great fit over there as well.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I guess coming in, public health has always been something that I was passionate about. So health policy management really struck out to me. But service is also something that I'm passionate about. So I don't know.
Yeah. And obviously you can do one and the other at the same time. And
yeah.
I know here at PC, the health policy major has really taken off in recent years when,
definitely,
just with the Affordable Care Act coming into play, yes, and just healthcare being a huge topic in general, just throughout. So when you look forward to next year, so you have, this is a full 1 year experience?
Yes.
The Newman Fellowship. So what is that going to look like in terms of the different things you're going to be involved in and the different research you'll have to do as part of that program?
So there's going to be like a kickoff conference in the fall where all the students come together, and I believe they're mentors as well. And there will be different breakout workshops and like, I'm assuming like a keynote speaker and different things that we attend to like learn more about what the organization does and how we will be part of that. And also there'll just be more opportunities for like mentorship and just gaining different tools and knowledge throughout the year. Right.
And then it seems like it's something that, with your work at Smith Hill is much more of a mentorship role. You are also, the vice president of the Society Organizing Against Racism here on campus. So that obviously I would think dovetails pretty well with what you're going to be doing with the fellowship. Was that part of the application process? Like, hey, I'm involved in this, with SOAR, and that's part of the process to get the Newman Fellowship?
Yes. So as part of the process, we kind of had to write like a 200-word, like, biography in a way, I guess, of why you're interested in service and why you'd be a good fit for the fellowship. And I guess that's something that I mentioned, being a CL and also being the vice president of SOAR, because those are two of the main organizations that I'm part of that kind of work for social justice and social change.
Now, did you see yourself going this route when you were choosing colleges and when you were in high school and making these sorts of decisions?
Yes, I did. I didn't realize that it would be like such a huge part of my life back then, but I definitely knew that I definitely wanted to continue to do service in college.
And then why did you end up choosing PC?
I guess there's a couple of reasons. I don't know, I kind of saw myself fitting in here, but also standing out at the same time. And I also saw myself, just flourishing, making friends and learning and being able to like educate others as well as learn from others.
God, so I'd love to just talk that first part that you mentioned, that you'd be able to fit in and stand out at the same time. Could you explain that a little bit more?
Yeah, I guess by fitting in, I mean like, I would have a place, like I would have a community and something that I was a part of that made me feel at home and made me feel like part of a family. And then at the same time, standing out where I can be myself and, go to a protest and do the things that I want to do and not feel like I can't do those things.
Right. And that seems like it's kind of two ends of the spectrum, right? Feel like you're part of something, as a whole, and then also have your part that stands out and you really want to achieve something. So does that get hard when you're trying to kind of manage both ends of the spectrum in a way? Because I think that at some level you want to make sure you push for the things that you want, but then at the same time, you it seems like you have like a lot of affection for PC. You came here, you developed that sort of community. How do you kind of navigate that process?
Wow. I'm still trying to figure it out. It's very hard to try to, challenge people in the place that I'm in, but also be loving and accepting at the same time. I guess I pick my battles and make sure that I'm like always being respectful no matter what I'm doing, I guess.
Right. And how many people are involved with SOAR?
So SOAR, there's an exec group of 5 of us, and then we also have about 5 to 10 members who come to our meetings each week.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So does that, for you, when you have, the kind of extracurricular components to your education, and you kind of mix them in with the academic side, do you feel like you get just as much from the extracurricular stuff as you do from the stuff that you get inside the classroom?
Oh, yes, definitely. The discussions that we have at SOAR are so enriching, and like we can pull things that we've learned from class and bring it to our SOAR meetings and talk about it there. And also being a CL, we have weekly meetings where our CL cohort, so all the different CLs at different service sites come together and we talk about our experiences. And yeah, I definitely pull in things from class and things that I learned from my professors to those meetings as well.
I bet. So when you have, all these things going on, do you have a certain kind of destination in mind that you kind of build towards? Like, I want to be this sort of profession, or I want to make this sort of change in the world, or is it more of just kind of a step-by-step approach? Like, all right, I'm doing this, and then my next little step would be, this here or that there.
I would say it's more of a step-by-step approach. I mean, I have kind of the common goal of just, I know it sounds like cliche, but like making a difference, in any way that I can. So I mean, there are certain things that I want to see in this world that maybe I won't see before I die. I don't know. That sounds kind of morbid. Like racial equity and just like social justice in all its forms. But taking that step-by-step approach of like, this is what I'm going to do now, so that hopefully in the future things will be better for others. Right.
And it's, obviously a topic that can be, have a lot of emotion behind it, and understandably so, right? If someone feels like they're being wronged, that's an emotional experience.
Right.
And then obviously someone who's an advocate for that person, they might not be experiencing exactly what that person is experiencing, but it's obviously an emotional thing to be involved in. So do you have certain people that you look towards as mentors for you as you kind of go down that path and say, hey, I want to act the way they act, or I want to have the kind of impact that they've had, and kind of walk in their shoes?
Yes, I feel like I definitely do. Wow, there's so many people I can name just here at PC. The seniors and the upperclassmen who are on the exec board with me on SOAR are definitely role models in the things that they do for social change on this campus. And some of my professors in PSP and in global studies and HPM who have just inspired me to, like, with all that they've accomplished, to just be the change that I want to see.
Right. And then even in health policy and management, like you mentioned, HPM, there's, I would think, now granted, I don't work in health policy, I work here at Providence College, but it seems like there would be a lot of carryover between some of the social justice and social change parts and the health policy piece, where you have those two areas can converge in one united front on certain topics.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't know if you know, the healthcare system in the U.S. is really not that great. A lot of people end up being marginalized and pushed to the side when it comes to getting proper and adequate care or health insurance and things like that. So, yeah, that definitely can. Yeah.
Right. So when you kind of see yourself as, playing a role in making that sort of change, do you see yourself as more of kind of like out front, being someone who's kind of like a community leader, being kind of like the mouthpiece for a certain point of view, or more of kind of behind the scenes role where you're, whether it's, kind of leading a certain team or making connections with like grassroots efforts?
It's definitely the latter. I see myself more behind the scenes in everything that's going on.
And why is that?
Because I don't know, I've struggled with my public speaking skills in the past, and I don't know, I just like to be behind the scenes, like making sure things get done and helping in any way that I can, and reaching out to people who can be part of the movement. Yeah. Right.
And I'll say, so you're a sophomore now. You're about to finish your sophomore year. We're recording this on April 24th. Probably come out in the next couple of weeks. As people listen to the podcast know, we basically make the podcast available every Monday morning. So let's say look forward to next year. Over the next 2 years, what are some of the changes or a change that you would like to be kind of a part of here at PC?
I guess I would say probably with helping increase the diversity on campus, and also I guess in service, seeing more students get involved with taking PSP courses or even doing service on their own outside of class.
Got it. And why taking the second piece first? Why would you have that as something that you view as important in terms of getting other students involved in PSP and doing kind of sort of that, I guess, mentoring or looking outside the campus type role?
Because I feel like it's just a really transformative experience. Like, service has changed my life, and there are so many people out there who are in need, or not necessarily in need, but just need, or just want to have someone there to like help them get to like a different place in their lives. And I feel like we have a privilege here on this campus to be a part of that change, and so why not go out and do it? Right.
And it seems like you kind of take approach of like, if you can help one person, that makes it worth it. I think
Definitely.
I just, from the outside looking in, I've never worked at the Smith Hill Library, but it seems like something that would be, let me put it this way. I have a friend of mine who taught in inner city Baltimore for a long time, and he said the part that people don't understand when they're not in that environment is that, you know, when you're trying to have kind of a mentoring role, is that, you know, the good days are better than anyone else. You know, the good days are you know, 10 out of 10, but the bad days can be 1 out of 10. You know, you can really have a big range of emotion and experiences in those sorts of roles. Has that been your experience as well?
Yes, definitely. I feel like in some ways I haven't gotten, you know, that personal to see like all the trials and tribulations of a kid's life. I'm only there with them for a couple hours, but there's definitely good days, great days, and some days that just aren't that great. But yeah, it's a spectrum.
Right, and I guess that's why you're there, right? To try to, you know, to iron those out as much as you can.
Yeah, good moments.
Got it. Well, hey, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure to have you on.
Thanks
Before we get going, is there anything that you would recommend? Basically, when this is coming out, students or potential incoming students will have just made their deposits to PC. You know, May 1st being the deposit deadline for most colleges around the country. So if you were going to talk to an incoming freshman, what are a couple things that you would say to them, or recommendations you would make to help make sure that their freshman year or their whole 4 years are as good as possible here at PC?
I would say use your resources. There's so many things out there on this campus that are available to you, and just feel free to ask questions and just try new things. Try everything. You may not like it. You don't have to go through with it, but just try as many things as possible. There's so many different opportunities that the school has to offer. And don't be afraid to speak out when you see an injustice.
That's great. Well, thank you so much, Phoebe. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.